This video is about the day my friends and I decided to go cage diving with bull sharks. As you can imagine,
That's so big!
this experience was slightly nerve-wracking, so come along with us for this amazing and unforgettable day. We left the ship early to head to the Bimini Big Game Resort. We checked in at the Niel Dive Center and each of us paid $93.50 USD. When we went out to the dock, there were already tons of sharks in the water, circling the cage that we would soon be climbing into. Each pair would spend 20 minutes underwater, which might not sound like a lot, but trust me, it was perfect. I lost rock, paper, scissors, which meant me and my friend had to go in first. I don't think you can tell from the video, but I was so nervous as I dropped down to the bottom of the cage. I obviously expected these sharks to be big, but sitting there next to them was still shocking. They were enormous. It took me a few minutes to slow down my breathing, but once I got comfortable, the views were absolutely incredible. I was paired with my best friend, Rieta. Watching the sharks swim around us was breathtaking. I know sharks get a lot of hate, but the reality is that the ocean is their home and we are just visiting. And on top of that, they are fascinating animals. Male bull sharks can grow up to 7 feet long and females up to 11 feet long, with an average lifespan of 16 years. One of the most fascinating things about this type of shark is that they have the ability to survive substantial periods of time in freshwater. The sharks need saltwater to survive, but due to an adaptation in their kidney and other special glands, they are able to store some saltwater as they venture into freshwater. There are very few species of sharks that have this ability. The common perception of bull sharks is that they are dangerous and aggressive, so it may surprise you to know that they are considered near threatened. In fact, many species of sharks in the world are threatened or endangered. Despite being the apex predators of the ocean, they still remain threatened by humans, mainly through overfishing and habitat destruction. As far as the setup for this experience goes, you are provided with a respirator attached to a tank that sits on the dock with the dive center's crew member. So it's not quite scuba diving. None of us that went on this day were certified divers, so this is good for people who do not have a dive certification. They also provide you with a dive belt and a mask if you don't have your own, and a wetsuit can be rented for an additional price. But to be completely honest, it's the Bahamas. The water was incredible. The entire experience was really easy, and we only had one slight hiccup.
You're pulling my hose. I'm so sorry.
It would be my luck that while sitting in a cage surrounded by sharks, the most dangerous thing was my best friend. Okay, I'm kidding. It really wasn't that big of a deal, but it is a reminder of why it's important to book these excursions with companies who are well trained and able to assist people who are not used to using apparatus such as a respirator. We continued on without any other issues. I'm not sure if you can tell from the clips, but it was really chaotic being in the cage, and not because of the sharks. Tons of fish kept swimming in and out of the cage. I don't think any of us really considered this beforehand because we were so focused on the sharks, but it definitely made it more of an interactive experience. I even got to see this stunning French angelfish who kept hanging out in the cage with us. Also, while the excursion was for diving with bull sharks, you probably noticed there were tons of nurse sharks as well. Nurse sharks usually sit along the ocean floor, so it was special to see them swimming around so much. Because they stay along the ocean floor, nurse sharks have a unique trait where they don't need to keep moving in order to breathe. The shark's muscles are able to create the same effect of water passing over the gills while lying stationary. This process is referred to as buccal pumping. Contrary to bull sharks, nurse sharks are considered a low risk to humans unprovoked. I'm not 100% sure because I'm not an expert, but I believe the ones that we saw were Atlantic nurse sharks. While not endangered, they are classified as a vulnerable species. Sharks help maintain a balanced ecosystem, and conservation efforts are super important. They should not be feared, but rather recognized as vital to marine ecosystems. Not far from the dive center is the Bimini Shark Lab. I got to tour there a few weeks before we did this, and the lab has done a lot of work to track and obtain data about the shark species in this area. Bimini has a great environment for the sharks because around the island are lots of seagrass banks and mangroves where shark pups are raised. The Gulf Stream also passes by this island and is full of nutrients and carries warm water to the area, which feeds a range of prey for the sharks. So Bimini is kind of like the best of both worlds between the calm and protective mangroves and banks and its proximity to the nutrient-rich Gulf Stream current. The Bahamas has become the largest shark sanctuary in the entire world, and believe it or not, tourism such as shark diving has been a big factor in this. Although this practice can be controversial, shark diving can drive conservation efforts. Shark diving provides an economic reason to protect these animals. Now, don't get me wrong, we should do our part in protecting any marine species just because they are all important to their ecosystem. But unfortunately, profits are what drive change. That being said, shark dives must be done in a way that minimally disrupts the sharks themselves. This means that the sharks are not harmed or put into distress, and they do not depend on baiting for their dietary needs. Respectful and sustainable marine tourism, such as shark diving, pushes local authorities to instate protected areas. Additionally, admiring these animals helps people to develop a respect for them and combats negative misconceptions. There is no such thing as shark-infested waters. The ocean is just their natural habitat. Wildlife encounters can be meaningful for both humans and animals, as long as we respect the fact that we are visiting their home. The reason we chose the Niel Dive Center was because they were recommended by an employee of the Bimini Shark Lab. It was clear that this center respects and appreciates sharks for their unique qualities instead of instilling fear of them. I hope that by watching this video, you can see the sharks for the incredible creatures that they are. At the end of our 20 minutes, the guide tapped the inside of the cage to signal that it was time to get out.
You were there the whole time. It was really cool.
Well done. I was like 100 times overstimulated, so that was a lot.
No,
It's
I'm,
cool, but it
I'm
was
very
a lot.
proud of you for trying.
I am so sorry for tugging it.
It was time for my other friends, Lara and Nina, to hop in. Nina went in first.
Oh, that's so big! Okay.
and was shortly followed by Laura. This is without a doubt the best part of working on cruise ships. Stuff like this is amazing, but it is so much more meaningful when you get to have these experiences with your friends. I think all of us were nervous going into it, but no matter how scared we were, we still went through with it. Experiences like these push you out of your comfort zone, and it's normal to feel the anticipation ahead of time. I don't know if I would have had the courage to have done this on my own, but I'm really glad that I didn't have to. Once we got over the initial anxiety, we got to enjoy how stunning the views were from underwater. was a 10 out of 10 experience. I think any of us would honestly do it again. After the other girls were done, we saw these 2 giant pelicans, grabbed some lunch, and relaxed at the big game resort before heading back to the ship.